it's Chrissy from Knittin in the Heights. Today is August the 10th, I believe it's Thursday. I am about to walk over to the school where I'm going to meet one student to take the bus over to our Bronx camp. I'm tired. I've been working, well, the camp itself, I leave at, 7 in the morning, not back till 5:30 at night. We're on week 5 of this kind of a schedule, and I'm having to work after work to catch up with the other parts of my job, preparing for the new school year. I really am feeling the need to take some time off from work. Not so much vlogging. Vlogging is actually fun because I do video editing all the time. And I'm not doing huge videos. It doesn't take me all that long, so don't worry about that. I'm not worried about that. But I am feeling like I'm in a grind right now. So yeah, so I'm feeling a bit worn out, feeling tired. The music's getting to me at this point because it's the same pieces for the most part for all 3 camps. And there's only so many earworms my brain can handle. Yeah, this crew of kids, they're very sweet kids. They're just very, very young. We have more younger kids at this camp, and so because of that, they're really, really sweet. But the day is real long for them, and so they're getting really wiggly. And a lot of them play string instruments. And because they do in-school string programs, they don't quite get as many hours with their instruments during the school year. And it's been a lot of like dropped violins, which is no fun for anyone because they can break, and we've had broken instruments already. So yeah, this has been an adventure, to say the least. I'm just being really honest. This has been a challenging few days, and I think part of it too is if I was just teaching or just running this camp, it'd be fine, but it's the expectations that I do all the things that is hard. All right, see you later. Hello friends, so I'm back after a long day. It's just before 6 o'clock at night. Tonight I am opting to not work. I really need a break. So part of what made today long was
I needed to basically reschedule some things so that I could get Gabe from school in Hell's Kitchen in the middle of the camp day, basically during my lunch break. Gabriel's babysitter had an appointment that was really important that she keep, and then the other babysitter I typically use, he got sick, so I wasn't able to count on babysitters today. So anyway, brought Gabe to camp, so you'll see some video of that, of him just kind of running around actually in an empty room, and that's what that is. So he got to see what camp was like. I actually had him come and play for just a couple minutes with our percussion students who are playing in our ensembles, and he got to do shaker, which he did very well. He was very rhythmic. Yeah, so today it started raining at around 4 o'clock, and that kind of slowed down pickup from some parents. So we were there for a little bit longer than we've been there the past few days. Yeah, sorry, I'm tired. It's been a long couple days. Yeah, so tonight I am really planning on just sitting and knitting, and yeah, that'll be exciting. All right, well, yeah, I'll be back in a little bit with some progress on my So Faded, I guess. Well, I was gonna show everybody my So Faded. Hard to show. I'm trying to use my computer as like a way to kind of show you the progress I've made. It is coming along. So I am at the point where I'm completely striped in the third color, and I'm only on the third color, and it's subtle as it's supposed to be with a So Faded, but basically it's mostly the pink and purples that were up above. Sorry, yeah, so it's really, really pretty. I'm really loving like areas like this where you get like half a stitch of color, or like a little really cool little pop of color every once in a while. It is coming along beautifully. I'm gonna take up my tape measure in a second to tell you how many inches I'm at now. So from the underarm, we are now at about 6 inches when you actually unroll everything, like 5.5 to 6 inches. It's always hard. It's always kind of tricky. There you go. You can kind of see there's where it hits. So I gotta make sure it starts at the right place. Yeah, I wish I had another hand. Well, maybe we're at like, it's at 5.5 inches from the underarms, approximately. So that's great because I think we're about halfway through the body length. So I just looked at the pattern, and for the size I'm doing, I need this to measure 13 inches for the full body length, which is good actually, because I do like a longer body on my sweaters. I don't want it to be cropped. I'm going to do the classic sweater. So again, this is this sweater, the So Faded sweater, is a raglan. It's a raglan sweater, and you use like 4 colors, usually 3 or 4 colors of yarn. You could use more than that, but I'm using 4 colors, and I'll go over those colors in a second. And at this point, I'm at 5.5 inches from the underarm. And literally we're at the stage now where the knitting is super simple. It's just going around and around and around. I am actually, just to give you some of the details of like the sizing and everything, I am knitting the size that is, sorry, I'm trying to find where the measurements are. There we go. I'm knitting the size with a 46 inch bust. So it's a size 5 in the pattern. I'm basically, which is about 2 inches larger than my bust size when I measure it, if I remember right. I am using US 5s for the main body of the sweater, and the ribbing I'll be using a US 3 because I do pretty much get gauge for what I needed to, or at least the last time I knit this, I got gauge and it was fine. So the colors I am using, the first color is by Sweet Sparrow Yarns. I do have some of that left because I'm going to do the collar in it, and I'm going to get people's opinions. So this is a collar that's added on after. I was thinking, I mean, I have quite a bit of yarn, and I kind of noticed in my last sew faded, I did exactly what the pattern said as far as the number of rows. And I feel like it stretches out a little bit too much for me. So what are your thoughts? Do I make a longer collar? Do I make one of those collars where you fold it over and you sew it in? What would you do? Give me some comments down below. Just give me some ideas. I'm doing the full length with the not crop. So the classic sweater with the full length sleeves. And the colors I'm using, again, this is Mayfairy. Sorry, it's been a day. Mayfairy from Sweet Sparrow Yarns. It was a club colorway. It's really pretty with like these subtle speckles. That faded into the Textile Witches Peas Blossom, which faded into, oops, wrong one. The one I'm on now, Pink Peony by Chelsea Lux in 80-10-10. So 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Finally into Believe from Craft House Magic, which is a 75-25. So 75% merino wool, 25% nylon. The first two are also that same, basically the same base, or at least the same makeup of a base. So yeah, I am at this stage with all the colors. I'm knitting until I get to 40 grams before I start striping in the next color. So what I have left of the Mayfairy was different. The Mayfairy, I knew I didn't have to do the sleeves. So basically when I was getting to the end of the sleeves, I started striping in the new color. So I wouldn't have to change right after that because I wanted it to stripe in earlier. So with the Mayfairy, I have left, I'm trying to get my everything to work. So I have left about 20 grams of the Mayfairy colorway, which should give me a sizable collar. For once I started striping in yarn for the Textile Witch, it left me with 36 grams. So that means I had 4 grams that I used for the actual striping for the fade, which is fine. I think 36 grams will give me plenty. I need to actually count the number of rows that I'll be knitting each of the sleeves in so it's a perfect match, which shouldn't be a problem. And then I'm planning to get to about 40. So if I need to fix my scale for a second and zero it out. So right now I've knit 90 grams of this. Sorry, I did not knit 90 grams of this. I have 90 grams left. So 10 grams have been used, which isn't a lot. So I would say that the bulk of the body will likely be, let's see, if about, I'm trying to do some math in my head. I want to say I was probably at like 80 something percent. I don't remember. It's too long ago. I'm trying to figure out. I think a lot of the body is actually going to be in this Pink Peony colorway. And it's just going to be right before the ribbing that I'll start striping in the last colorway. But, I don't know right now. It might be a third, and a third of the body. Something similar to that. Actually, that might actually be what it ends up being, to be honest with you. Because I think when I think about the actual body length, I'm not that far into the Pink Peony, and I'm about 5.5. I think it was like at 4 inches or something, around 4 inches. So it's, yeah, I mean, it may be that I have about 6 inches worth of the Pink Peony before I get into, it might be something like that. Yeah, but it's going to look pretty balanced, I think. I know I'm rambling on about things that don't even exist right now in real life. But anyway, it's interesting to think about, and just to think when I should fade in the next color. It is interesting. I will definitely end the hem in the Believe colorway. And yeah, if I do full length sleeves, I think, I'll get all the colors on the sleeves as well. The plan is to follow it exactly to pattern. And except for some slight modifications in the raglan shaping, it is to pattern. And what happened with the raglan shaping was, I think I've described this before, but if the size just below it, there were increases, like it was a single increase, if that makes sense. So like I would add a certain number of stitches on each side, whereas the next size, the size I'm in, but then it created a longer raglan shaping. Now the size that I chose to do said to do double increases, but it's all based on the number you want on the needles, right? And if you do double increases, it makes it a shorter raglan, because to get to that number of stitches, you get there faster. So I kind of ended up splitting the difference, where I got to the right number of stitches, but like kind of alternated where that happened. And I'm curious to see what that actually does with the shaping, because, you know, thinking of the shape of my own boobs and how that could work. Yeah, it might actually work better because, you know, I don't know. We'll see. It looks like it's going to fit really well. I haven't tried it on yet, but it does look like it's going to fit really well. It doesn't matter. I'm going to finish it as is. I'm not ripping this back. This puppy is going to get done. I'm actually really shocked at how fast it's flying off the needles, especially for a fingering weight sweater. And I remember that happening the first time I did it. So maybe there are more, at least the numbers, using the numbers from the So Faded and like this kind of recipe for the So Faded, even if I don't fade it, even if it's one color, there may be more of these in my future. Although I am really excited to start my knit along with Josh and to do all of that. So I'm hoping tomorrow I'll have the headspace. It'll be Friday night. What a nice treat to wind up and get my knit along bag ready. I think that's what I'm going to plan to do tomorrow, is to actually pull out one of my bags that I use for sweater knitting, another bag that I use for sweater knitting. So it's a really cool Harry Potter based bag. It's the Marauders map. And it's a nice big size, and wind up my yarn and get my needles all prepped and get some nice stitch markers, you know, figure out how many stitch markers I need, put a few progress keepers in there, make it all a nice little kit. So when we cast on, it'll be really nice to do so. Josh and I tried to work out when we are going to a knitting store together, like a yarn store, and we have a date to do that. So we're going to do that on a Sunday. And I think we're planning to go to Woolen in Brooklyn. And we do plan on taking you along, which will be really cool, because he needs to pick out yarn. The plan for him, we've talked it through. He is going to use Knit Picks yarn, a lace weight Knit Picks yarn. We're not sure which one yet. He was going to get a few options, and then find like a fingering weight yarn to be the other stripes from this trip. So that's the plan so far. And I know once we get talking about it, that'll be really cool to share with you guys. All right, well, that's it for tonight. I'll talk to you later. Bye.